Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. I am he, Mr. Warren Hayes, the man whose name is in the title of the show, Mr. Warren Hayes Show. Still battling this tremendously painful canker sore that developed over the past couple of days and that had me suffer through my Raw review yesterday, as if Raw wasn't suffering enough, didn't make me suffer enough. I had to deal with this thing. A canker sore right on the side of my tongue, rubbing up against my teeth. It's really uncomfortable. It feels, not only is it painful, but it makes my tongue feel like it's 3 times the size it should be, and it makes me salivate a lot. So I apologize in advance if I sound weird, if I sound like I'm sloshing through my words, that I'm a little lispy. It's not intentional. I'm not trying out a new bit here for my upcoming one-man show, which is not a real thing. It's really, really painful. So I have water, but I'm going to power through this for you guys because you took the time today to take a look at this video here and say, man, Warren Hayes, cool guy, cool hat, cool little lucha pocket here. I should give this guy the time of day and watch his video, and I appreciate it. And if you're watching it, if you enjoy it, just go ahead and you're on YouTube, you're watching this on YouTube, just press the like button. That helps a lot. The thumbs up. And you know what? It helps out, and I appreciate it. But if you don't like it, you can do the thumbs down thing. That's fair. That's what it's for. It's democracy in action, folks. Or you can just leave it as that. I don't want to push you into doing anything. You can do whatever you like. You can enjoy whatever you like. And I'm okay with that. For real. No pressure. But we are going to be talking about SmackDown Live. The SmackDown Live edition of September 11, 2018. You're watching this on the 12th, or at least this will appear on September 12th on the internet. And if you're watching this actually on the 12th, well, know that tonight over on FightfulSelect.com, I will be doing my weekly NXT 205 Live Mae Young Classic recap. That's right, 3 shows being recapped into one bite-sized show just for y'all subscribers of FightfulSelect.com. FightfulSelect.com, in case you don't know, is the subscription service of Fightful.com, the premier news, combat sports news. I mess that one up like once out of every 2 times. It's combat news sports. Fightful.com is the premier combat sports news website out there that you can that you need to read if you're not already doing it. We have over on Fightful, they have pro wrestling news, MMA, boxing, it's all there. And then you have FightfulSelect.com, which adds on top of all of the free sites, exclusives and news and articles and reviews. On top of that, you get a whole bunch of stuff on FightfulSelect.com. You get a whole slew of members-only podcasts, including Sean Ross Sapp's Weekender podcast, where he recaps the week in wrestling news, talks about non-WWE programming, such as Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan. He also covers Being the Elite, 12 Pounds of Gold. And then I do, as I mentioned, my weekly 205 Live NXT recap show, which is supplemented with the Mae Young Classic for now. We also do monthly retro pay-per-view reviews. Sean and I, we recently did TNA Unbreakable and SummerSlam 1992. And then this weekend, we're going to be recording, are you ready for this? ECW One Night Stand 2006, The Revival. It is a good show. Anyway, I hope you guys take the time to go over and subscribe. And you not only get podcasts, you get exclusive news, you get great reward tiers. Head on over to FightfulSelect.com. Go take a look at that. You get all sorts of fantastic content starting at only $5 a month. You get all the Warren Hayes that you can handle for just $5 a month. How about that? Mm-hmm. Can you dig that? Sure you can dig it. Go ahead and dig it. Dig it like you mean it. Anyway, FightfulSelect.com. I'll be doing that tonight. And then on Friday, this Friday, of course, it's a pay-per-view week. I'm going to do a preview show because anyone who talks about wrestling on the internet in any shape or form, whether it be just through Twitter posts or forum posts or a schmuck in front of a camera talking to people, screaming into the void, we all love to do prediction shows. I think that's the main reason why people maintain a presence on the internet talking wrestling, because the prediction shows are so much fun to do. And I'm going to be joined, I'm not going to be doing it alone, I will be joined by a colleague, a pal, a chum, Kristen Ashley, who writes at a bunch of places over at the Fan-Sided Daily DDT. She writes for Fightful as well. She's a cool person. She's low-key intimidating, and I'm looking forward to having her. So it'll be fun, and it's actually a lot of fun to be able to talk to someone and exchange some ideas for a change. That's always good. So that'll be on Friday. So your boy Warren's got a busy week ahead of him, and I hope you guys tune in. Let's now talk about SmackDown Live. And as usual, before we actually get into the nitty gritty, before we actually do the slide in, the deep dive, the butterfly, the breaststroke. I've never taken swimming lessons. I have no idea what I'm doing. Before we actually go into that, it's sort of becoming a tradition. A new tradition, but traditions always have to start somewhere. At some point, even the oldest of traditions was new. So this is how I'm perceiving my bold predictions that I ask over at my Twitter timeline, over at twitter.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. Mr. Warren Hayes. If you go and follow me there, you can join in all sorts of conversations. We have all sorts of wonderful chit-chats, little talky-talks with each other. But one thing that I do before all of these shows is, these WWE shows, is I ask my timeline for their boldest predictions, and my timeline responds with some very bold predictions. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about some bold predictions. For SmackDown Live tonight. So bold prediction number 1 comes from Lola Bradbury. Hey, Lola. And she says, Samoa Joe will get a delivery from Wendy's during the program. That's bold because I don't think... Joe doesn't come across to me as the square patty cheeseburger type. You know, I think he's more... He comes off more like a rare animal steak kind of guy. Like a guy who enjoys sushi from nearly extinct varieties of tuna. That's the kind of guy I think he is. That's his idea. That's his meal. Like every night he'll eat a capuchin monkey. That's what Samoa Joe comes across as to me. I've put a lot of thought in this. Professor Steiner says Randy Orton makes love to Jeff Hardy's earlobe. Yeah. That's probably one of the only ways it could get grosser. Nicholas Nutter, which I really hope, Nicholas, if you're listening, I really hope it's your real name. Because you're my hero if it is. Bless Mr. and Mrs. Nutter. Nicholas says AJ drops the title to a mysterious masked wrestler. He unmasks, and it's James Ellsworth, wink and all. Paige reminds him that he's fired and the title change doesn't count. SmackDown goes off the air with Ellsworth making the most deflated face of all time. Super bold and really entertaining. What a bait and switch. And we do know it would be entirely plausible for Ellsworth to take the title off of AJ. He has wins over AJ Styles. Let's not forget that. Good bold prediction. Jay says we get a Dillinger Truth Milla love triangle, which culminates in a Carmella on a pole match for the love and affection of the princess. After 30 minutes of grueling fighting, the match is won by the Hurricane, who flies through and picks up Carmella, who in turns into Mighty Mella. I'd be very down for Hurricane Helms to come back in full regalia and get himself a new mighty sidekick. A bold, very bold prediction. I like it. And our final bold prediction, the queen of bold predictions tonight, is Bexual Chocolate. And she says, her bold prediction is, R-Truth proposed to Carmella, and they have the most Staten Island wedding imaginable at Hayek, only for Ellsworth to ruin the wedding just as a bridesmaid, and Rusev is the minister. That's fantastic. You guys are great, and I'm going to keep asking for all these bold predictions as we go along because they're a lot of fun and they're great to just start off a show like SmackDown tonight, which will be a fairly quick review, I'm afraid, because it's all pretty straightforward. I'm going to tell you one thing as far as go-home shows go. This was pretty entertaining. I had fun. I had much more fun than slogging through that 3 hours of void that was Raw last night. Anyway, you should just go watch my review. Go watch my Raw review. Have you watched my Raw review? Why have you not watched my Raw review? Let's get this going. Jeff Hardy comes to the ring and he says he has a mic. Well, he has a microphone. He doesn't say he has a microphone. He actually has a microphone. He says he's overcome his demons and stands before us all a better man. But those demons, they still exist. Randy Orton will take the shape of a serpent and he will face him in his version of Paradise, Hell in a Cell. This makes sense to me. I understood what he was talking about. Like, it was coherent. And he says that Randy Orton might be a demon, but I am a daredevil. I have no fear. I will unleash a lifetime of pain and anguish on him. Unload a lifetime, is what he said, a lifetime of pain and anguish. And after that, And then he says, and after that, I'm going straight to hell. Enjoy the show. Which is the most wrestling thing you could say. That was the way he delivered it. And after that, I'm going straight to hell. Enjoy the show. Like he did, without missing a beat. Oh man, Jeff Hardy is basically, he's setting us up to say that he's going to jump off of something, isn't he? He's preparing us for his possible demise, isn't he? He's mentally making us ready. Anyway, Shinsuke comes out. Good to see Shinsuke back on TV, and I feel like he was glad to be back on television because he was in top form. Everything looked good. All of his offense really seemed looked crisp. It looked strong. He did. At first he stalls, but he gets some offense in quickly. It wasn't that much of a stall. He does Jeff Hardy does a flying clothesline off the stairs onto Nakamura right into the barricade, and that looked kind of hard. Shin at some after we come back from commercial gets on to Jeff Hardy with some headlocks, knees to the head, lots of strikes. He's dominating with most of the match with his feet. It looks really, really good. He hits a big kick to the back of Jeff Hardy's head. I think commentary said that it was to the back of the neck, but it hit the head. Hardy hits the twist of fate, goes for the swanton, but Orton crotches him off the top rope. He beats him up, grabs a chair, cracks it across his back, but Jeff gets the upper hand, grabs the chair himself, and then starts wailing on Orton. Hits the twist of fate and the swanton bomb. I guess Jeff Hardy is losing this weekend because I'm sure you've noticed that generally when it comes to WWE booking, whoever stands tall at the end of a match or a segment on the go home show typically loses their pay-per-view match. So I'm afraid Jeff isn't. But I mean, how long does Jeff still have in WWE? Like, how much gas does he still have in? I know a lot of people are hoping for a Brother Nero situation, but I don't think it's happening. You kind of get the feeling that WWE put the kibosh on the Broken Universe. And what's the Broken Universe without Matt? I mean, he's the catalyst. He's at the center of it all. It's too bad, but I think Jeff has enough at this point. I think this is to avoid making a bad pun, but I'm going to make it anyway. I think this is his swan song, his swanton song. Anyway, I'm not going to start talking about predictions just yet because you get to tune in on Friday to watch me do those predictions this Friday, along with Kristen Alley, who is an internet personality. Hope you're watching, Kristen. Kristen says she's going to be super aggressive. She's going to come after me. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I'm a nice guy. I avoid conflict. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, back to the show. We see Miz and Maryse backstage, or is it Maryse and Miz? Because Miz wants to give his lovely wife all the attention, all the spotlight, because he's a cool guy. Maryse says it took Daniel Bryan 3 years to come back to the ring. It took me 5 months after giving birth. And you're going to have to give Maryse some props for that, because that's legit. I mean, of course, using it as a heel propaganda tool, it's perfect, but it's also very true. She's 5 months in as a mother, and then she gets herself into shape to get into a wrestling ring. I mean, that's commitment, and I respect that. We have an empty arena interview with WWE champion AJ Styles. AJ says that he will not mess with Samoa Joe's family because Samoa Joe has a family, and because AJ has integrity. Joe's strengths include running his mouth, intimidation, and being a piece of garbage. And at Hell in the Cell, the intimidation ends. AJ, all right, I'm going to meet WWE halfway here. I'm glad that I props to trying out something new. You know, the empty arena thing. It's different, and we got to be open to different things. So I'm okay with that. AJ, though, and I've said this a few times on this very program, AJ, his promo work is much better when he's bouncing off of someone. He's a little stale. And I feel like the feud lost a bit of... It cooled down a bit. I feel like it's sort of tapered down instead of escalating. But I'll talk about it more when I get to Joe. But I feel this feud has lost a bit of gas. The segment last week was good, but I was actually expecting them to one-up this one here. But I'll talk about it when we get to Joe. We get a backstage promo with Charlotte, who's basically saying she's going to defeat Becky this Sunday, and as she's coming to the ring, she's doing the babyface hand slapping thing a lot. As if she was saying, as if WWE was saying, hey guys, look at how friendly and outgoing Charlotte is. You haven't seen Becky do this. Look, she's literally in the audience. Wow. As if we really needed to know who they think the babyface was here. They're really ham-fisting this one. It comes off as it kind of came off as exactly like when someone is running for office and they start doing things with kids. That's the equivalent of what we saw here. It's like, I don't usually do this. I don't usually go to kindergarten and sit around coloring in elephants while eating chicken nuggets in the shape of giraffes, or at least that's supposed to look like a giraffe. I don't usually do this. I'm kind of awkward at it, but I'll do it anyway. That's what it came across as. That leads us into our second match of the evening, which was Charlotte versus Sonya Deville. Charlotte and Sonya had a pretty good ground game to start. That ends up with Sonya just throwing Charlotte. She does a big sliding knee, covers Charlotte for 2. Charlotte chops Sonya, takes her down with a backbreaker. Goes for the moonsault, but Sonya lifts her legs. Charlotte's moonsaults have not been... I think she should put it on hold for a while. Her moonsaults haven't been... I mean, I know here it was not supposed to connect, but it felt like she overshot it a bit. It looked like Sonya sort of compensated a little with her legs. And over the past couple of weeks, there's the moonsault she did. What was it? Was it last week out on Becky? No, 2 weeks ago when they were doing the pull-apart brawl. And then there was that one moonsault that she pulled on the Iconics where she just landed on their arms. You remember that? When she just landed between them both, and the camera was right at the perfect angle just to really show us that she completely missed the move. Sonya breaks out of an arm of an Irish whip and gets into a triangle, which Charlotte deadlifts, bounces Sonya off the ropes and into a set-out powerbomb. Figure 8 for the win. This was not pretty, but good. Man, I cannot wait for them to pull the trigger on Sonya Deville and give her something real to sink her teeth in. And it's such a shame that she's on SmackDown and that Ember Moon's on Raw, because I feel like Ember Moon right now is floundering, which is ridiculous because the way they pushed her as she was coming in, the way she brought her in, the way they brought her up onto main roster, they were giving her quite the push, and she has been outstanding in every match that she's been on Raw. She has managed to shine no matter what kind of turkeys she's been ended up with in the ring. Ember's always pulled something out. And I feel like Sonya here, I like Sonya Deville. I really do. And I think she has tremendous upside. And if booked properly, she can be a legitimate star of the women's roster. And right now, to me, it's a shame that she's not working with someone like Ember Moon, who is one of the best workers, not just in the women's division, but in the entire company. Put those two together, it'd be fantastic. You know what I'm actually hoping? I'm hoping that when Shayna Baszler gets her call up, maybe she gets a call up with one of her 4 horsewomen friends, but like she forms a stable of shooters, of shoot fighters. And Sonya is in there with her, but not as cannon fodder like in Absolution or as in the Riot Squad, with Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, where they're just cannon fodder for Ruby Riott. No, like more like literally like an Evolution or 4 Horsemen or DX, where everyone can hold their own. That's what I think would be really cool. And has so much credibility. She's really good. So it's a shame that this is what she has to contend with. But the future is bright for her. For sure. Charlotte starts celebrating back into the audience as she heads backstage, but she gets blindsided. Charlotte gets absolutely blindsided by Becky Lynch in a wig, who actually looks like Laura Prepon. Laura Prepon goes after Charlotte Flair, beats her up, puts her in an armbar up on the ramp. And it looked good too. That was a nicely executed armbar. That was fantastic. I like this. It was just a nice little escalation. Very simple. I liked it. But then again, if we consider that Becky Lynch stood tall at the end of this segment, well, her chances at winning at Hell in a Cell have just gone down dramatically. But we'll see. It could be a situation where just Becky has Charlotte's number. And that would actually be a really cool angle. Nice little story, I should say. That kind of like when Sasha Banks and Charlotte were trading the women's title. Has it already been 2 years now? 18 months, 2 years? The story that they were telling there was that they're so evenly matched, that either or can win the title. That's why they were doing hot potato with it. But they made the story between them both so believable that they were both on the same level that it didn't feel like it was just, oh, it's your turn, it's my turn. It actually felt good. They should do the same over on this side. With Becky Lynch just showing that she has Charlotte's number, that she's ready to use everything she knows about Charlotte to get the win. There's a lot of interesting possibilities here. Kind of exactly like Tommaso Ciampa does to Johnny Gargano. Ciampa knows Johnny so well. He pulls out everything to get the win, and he has no scruples about it. I think it'd be interesting. All right, now we get the Samoa Joe bedtime story called Night Night AJ by Samoa Joe. And I am very torn about this. Again, let's start off on the right foot. Kudos to WWE for trying something new, right? Right. This was very different. The book looked great. I don't know who they got to design the book, actually make the object, but that was nicely done. The segment was overproduced. I think that's what my main qualm is with this, because the story was hokey. Not the story, but the lines were hokey. It was made to be like a Dr. Seuss kind of thing. But you put it in the hands of a man like Samoa Joe, and it just works because of his naturals, because of what he's capable of doing. Kind of like Sami Zayn. You give Sami the worst type of situation or promo situation that you can give someone, and he'll just spin gold out of it. This was the same thing here. It ultimately didn't annoy me or put me out of my mind because it was because of Joe, because of his reading, his performance. But the moving pictures and the cheap ass filters that they used on it, I really feel like it would have been much more dramatic for Joe to do this live, to be in the ring and just have the book. You don't have to show the picture books. You just have the book there and he's reading lines. Just in the same dramatic tone that he delivered during this segment here. He was so good, and I feel like it would have come across really, really well in the audience. I love the final picture of Joe with AJ's family and him holding the WWE title. But I'm very torn about it. Like, I don't know if I liked it. I don't know if I didn't like it. I'm very I think overall, look. All right, put a gun to my head. Please don't. But if you were to put a gun to my head, and I had to get off the fence, I think I liked it more than I disliked it. There you go. But it was so very overproduced, a little too cheesy for the tone of the feud, I found as well. It was just a little too over the top. It was a tonal shift that didn't have its place here specifically. But ultimately was okay. The thing is that I feel like this is not how things should have escalated. Now the segment was fine in and about itself. I want to separate two things. The segment, okay, I think I liked it more than I disliked it. But is this how I would have booked the final encounter between Samoa Joe and AJ Styles here? That is not how I would have done it. I really, really was expecting Samoa Joe to head out to Gainesville and stalk AJ's family. I was really, really looking forward to something like that. A la Brian Pillman and Steve Austin, minus minus the firearms. Or what was it? Was it Triple H who broke down Randy Orton's door with the sledgehammer? Something like that, which I think would have been fabulous. Of course, maybe they did think about it. Maybe they tried to get AJ's family on board and they didn't feel comfortable doing it. I can understand that, you know, the creative processes. Sometimes we have great ideas, but in the context, we don't know everything that goes on backstage. So maybe it couldn't have worked out. But man, I feel like it's just, we're going into to Hell in a Cell with a potential match of the year. We saw what these two guys delivered at SummerSlam. We can only expect them to go above and beyond here. Why wasn't there something just that could have bumped this one a little higher off of last week? You know, with the surprise attack, you know, they got to beat up on each other. What is this really what Samoa Joe felt was the best way to one up on AJ Styles? To read a creepy bedtime story is really, I would have done something much more dramatic. I mean, they're doing all these crime angles. Maybe Joe could have kidnapped his family. No, that would have been a little too grim. But I think the stalking thing would have been interesting. It would have just added an extra level. You know, have AJ be at home with his family, right? And then you have, you know, sort of waiting. Nothing happens. Then towards the end, you know, there's a knock on the door and he goes to answer the door. There's, you know, it's a distraction. The Samoa Joe one, and he comes in through the back door and he blindsides AJ. He beats him up in his house. See, if you're gonna do the personal thing, I think that's the way to go. You have to go full all in on it. Make the angle happen, you know, at his home. Anyway. The New Day come out for commentary. Big E is actually making pancake batter during the match. Kofi is dressed as Kramer Kingsman, who tries to talk to the bar but doesn't actually really talk to the bar at all, or doesn't even actually try to talk to the bar either. It's a pre-taped segment because Kofi is there at ringside too. Anyway, it was okay. It was funny. Because we're getting ready for the final match between the Bar and Rusev Day in the tournament. They used the word. They called it a tournament. It wasn't an eliminator or a round robin rigmarole. It was just a good old fashioned tournament. We had to get to the final match, to the actual finals, before realizing, gee willikers, this is actually a tournament. All right. Better late than never. Rusev Day. So Rusev Day comes out. Aiden English comes out first. And his song is Fired Up. But Fired Up is going to be the whole story of Aiden English tonight. His lyrics were perfect. Like, he had given thought into this. It wasn't one of his, you know, his sloppy raps. I don't know if that's what I want to call it, but yeah, no, his song is great. Rusev comes out with Lana. They all go to the ring, followed by the Bar, and then we have our match. This was a fun tag team match. I thought it really picked up in the final third again, but there was some good stuff all throughout. Lots of back and forth to begin. Rusev is in trouble early on, but Aiden English tags himself back in. He does a top rope splash, which was really cool. And I'll be perfectly honest. I taped this. What I'm doing right here, I taped this on the Tuesday night after SmackDown, and while I'm getting my things prepared, while I'm getting set up and doing my tests with the microphone, making sure that all my complexion is even with all these lights shining down on me. I listened to the boys over at Fightful.com and their post show. Alex Pulowski, Sean Ross Sapp, and Alex was pointing out and how fantastic Aiden English's character is, or let's say his gimmick now, is that he's the best friend. Like, he's the best friend Rusev could ever have, because what he does is look out for Rusev. We see this at the end of the match, of course, but even right here, Rusev is in trouble early on, and he just tags himself in so that Rusev can quickly, get out of the match and rest up a bit. And the other thing that we've observed is that obviously now Rusev is a babyface. Rusev Day they're a babyface act right now. So if you're bringing in if you're bringing these guys in as babyfaces, well, babyfaces usually, when you have a babyface turn, it usually means that the newly minted babyface has access to more offense. You don't have to play the heel and have a more grounded style. You can, or a more conservative, not high flying, flashy style. Did you see Aiden English go tonight? He was pulling out all sorts of new stuff, like that flying crossbody that he did, that front forward DDT that was kind of messed up, but still, and Rusev and Aiden English doing an assisted tope con hilo. That was really cool as well. Aiden was on fire during the match. When he got that tag in, he was on fire. Back from commercial, Aiden is the babyface in peril, though, but he gets the hot tag to Rusev, who comes in, cleans house. He gets the accolade on Cesaro, but Sheamus breaks it up. Cesaro then gets a European uppercut. Double DDT on Rusev. Sheamus covers for 2. And now Rusev is your babyface in peril for the match. Sheamus gets, a power slam. You figure, what a basic, simple move. But the body slam that Sheamus hit on Rusev tonight, I thought it looked particularly good. It was just so fluid, and he sort of spun him around with a certain amount of ease. Sheamus is a big, strong guy. Rusev is a big dude. That was really, really nice. And here's what's crazy. It's that it wasn't a massive spot. Like something, it wasn't something crazy. It was just like a bloody power slam. And I was like, wow, well, that looked really nice. If you don't believe me, go check it out. And if you believe me, share, like, and subscribe. Leave a comment. So Sheamus did that nice body slam. Ending comes when Aiden English basically takes the bullet for Rusev, eating the brogue kick that Sheamus was winding up to deliver on Rusev. Aiden just eats it, which allows Rusev to move out of the way. Well, he pushes Rusev out of the way and allows Rusev to hit the Machka kick on Sheamus for the win. So it's not the Bar that's going to face the New Day. It's Rusev Day. I was a little surprised, to be honest. And I was actually expecting Aiden English to turn heel. along the lines of, look what I did last week. I got us all the way here, without me or nothing kind of thing. But no, this is even more interesting than what I had in mind. Because I don't know how planned this was, but the breakup tease that they did just fed into this babyface turn, because no one wanted really Rusev Day to break up. We didn't want Aiden English to fall to the wayside. As an act, they work well together. They inserted Lana in there. They feel like a good trio. They felt like a good trio. So I think that trying to break them apart just made us love them a little more. Made us remember that we liked them, and it just fed into their babyface persona since. And now, Aiden being the fall guy, taking the bumps, eating the finishers, so that Rusev, the super athlete, can finish off the job. I think this is a dynamic that I can get behind. And I actually kind of hope they win at SummerSlam. But we're going to talk about this on the prediction show this Friday. I will be joined by Kristen Ashley from Fightful.com and the Daily DDT. So it won't be just me. This was a fun match. I liked it. I'm looking forward to Sunday now. Got me excited, and it got me thinking. But I'm actually going to talk about this on the show, on this prediction show. I'm going to save it for there. Second to last match of the night, we had Andrade Cien Almas versus R-Truth. You know, when I was telling you earlier that Fightful.com has all your wrestling news and exclusives, well, Fightful had an exclusive about. They reported that apparently Vince McMahon is very, very high, is very keen on Andrade Cien Almas. Now, what has your boy Warren been saying for the past few weeks, ever since he finally got out of his feud with Sin Cara? What has your boy Warren been saying? He's been saying, look, Andrade has lost cleanly twice since being called up. He lost once to AJ Styles and another time to Daniel Bryan, right? And he's been having high-profile matches with these people. He's wrestled Rusev. He's wrestled AJ Styles. He's wrestled Daniel Bryan. He's being put into this position, not by mistake. And what do I keep telling you guys? Management likes this dude. It's more than management. It's the man himself who's behind him. He apparently he has Vince's trust. Vince sees something very special in him, and he's ready to give him the time of day. And we are all benefiting from this. Maybe not as much this match here, which was it was very average. It was very plain. It was very vanilla cake with vanilla icing. And you know, not necessarily buttercream icing, more like, you know, just Betty Crocker icing that you just take out of a can and you go like, it's all ready. That kind of icing, that kind of vanilla, not French vanilla. Don't get me wrong, not French vanilla, and I'm not talking French vanilla cake either. Just vanilla, like nothing out of the ordinary. And the kind of vanilla that just tastes like very basic vanilla. Because you can use like vanilla beans or, you know, pure vanilla extract, you know, to really give it some, a nice supple flavor. Very aromatic. But no, we're just talking very basic vanilla here. I'm actually gonna make it to an hour, folks. I've been talking for like almost 50 minutes, and I thought I wasn't gonna make it past 40. Because I'm talking, because I'm just filling the time up with nonsense, and my tongue doesn't feel so bad. Maybe it's because of the water. What were we talking about? Wrestling? No, but basically this match was just okay. I think that WWE sees something with Carmella and R-Truth. Carmella, I think this is official. It's officially a face turn because Corey Graves' commentary he's officially letting go of the Mela is money cheerleading section. He feels betrayed that she's joining up with R-Truth. I don't think she's behind it. I'm glad that R-Truth is getting more time like this. This is fun. He feels fresh and he looks good. The match was just there. It was okay. There was nothing wrong about it. I like the spot where Truth does a Rana, then he somersaults back away from Andrade. So Andrade somersaults towards him and then just slams him with his feet as he's coming back down. The finish comes when Almas does the Tranquilo pose. Zelina rolls in to protect him from Truth. You know, she does the Tranquilo under him and she's like, no, you don't touch my man. Carmella drags her out. And in the confusion, Andrade Cien Almas rolls R-Truth up, gets a handful of tights, and wins. So another win for your boy Almas, Vince McMahon's golden boy. No, I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I mean, it shows that Vince is okay with him. It just shows. The Asuka Naomi segment. That was just dumb. It was dumb and it was... I didn't care for it at all. It's bad writing. It's bad creative. It does a disservice to both ladies. I didn't like it at all. At first, when Asuka came out, I was thinking, the first thing I thought is like, stop giving Asuka mic time. Her English is not up to par. Stop giving her mic time. There's no point in having her talk. And then Naomi came in, and then it's supposed to be wacky because they don't understand each other. Go. No, not go glow. Teriyaki? You know, I don't even... It's crazy how WWE still surprises me sometimes. And how you think they've moved on to other things, but they always come back to the same well. This was not funny. This was not funny. Like, even if you don't find it insulting, which is fine, maybe I'm being a little too sensitive here, folks. Could be. And my mouth is in pain. Trying to talk through. I thought it was going to be good for 40 minutes, but now it's 54 minutes. I'm still talking. My mouth is on fire right now. And what we end up with, I mean, you don't have to find it insulting. That's fine. But you have to at least admit that it was dumb. And that was not funny. Brie Bella versus Maryse is our main event of the evening. Maryse stalls quite a bit during the... Well, actually, the whole match is a stall, if you want to call it a match. Miz takes the mic and says that Brie doesn't deserve this match, so he basically calls it off. They walk up the ramp, but Brie runs up the ramp and drags Maryse back to the ring. She smashes her face on the apron, tosses her back in. The audience is into it. They're the Brie beating up on Maryse, and they're all for it. They want some blood. Maryse hits the first wrestling move of the match with a kick to the face. Miz then drags Brie out of the ring to break up a yes lock. That officially ends the match. Then they brawl. Miz knocks Bryan onto Brie. Miz then knocks Daniel Bryan into the steps while Maryse beats Brie up. Brie battles back into the ring with a very soft touch Luthez press. Maryse and Brie then blow a DDT reversal. Yeah. The match ends with Brie punching Miz in the face. I mean, the brawl at the end was good. Added more another level to the feud, and I don't have a problem with that. And I'm okay that they did this again. Another instance where all four people are beating each other up. They punched Miz in the face. I'm okay with all of this. Completely fine with it. But was this worthy of the main event? I would have given it to the tag teams. I would have absolutely given this to the tag teams, or with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. If you feel like the tag teams the tag team situation wasn't important enough to warrant being put up in the main event, I think Orton and Hardy have a compelling enough feud to have ended the show on such a high note. With Jeff hitting the swanton, it would have been very dramatic, and it's not a question of the match not serving that the Maryse and Brie Bella thing. I shouldn't call it a match. The Brie Bella and Maryse thing. It's not that it failed to develop the feud, added a little extra layer on top before moving on. I just feel like it shouldn't have been in the main event. It should have been anywhere else on the card. Just not the main event. Sometimes WWE these days kind of feels like the Attitude Era. We had 1 hour of wrestling in the first hour of Raw, we had about 12 minutes of wrestling in the entire first hour of Raw. That's a symptom. That was something that happened regularly in the Attitude Era. And instead of having a match at the end, we have main event segments. That happened on Raw this week. Kind of, even if they booked it as a match, it wasn't a match tonight. It was a segment. It was a thing, but it wasn't a match. Don't you dare. There's a pinfall. There was not pinfall. The disqualification. The referee called the bell. No, what happened was not a match. And that's another thing that happened regularly in the Attitude Era. You wouldn't have a match to finish. You'd have a segment. You'd have a promo to end up to close up the evening. That's exactly what happened on Monday. This is exactly what happened here tonight. Anyway, look, I felt was a better go-home show than Raw. I'm not a fan of go-home shows because I feel like they're just dancing around all the feuds, trying to keep everyone away, not too much contact, try to keep the drama for the pay-per-view. There were some good things here that added an edge, added some more elements. We found out who the final tag team was, who the New Day were going to defend against. I like that we saw Becky, be super aggressive, get the armbar in, which probably indicates that she's going to lose. I like that Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton again show that they're ready to be violent with each other. it kept building. There was at least something going on here. Wasn't a perfect show, but was better than Raw. Was better than last week's SmackDown. Last week's SmackDown was a bit of a snoozer. But that is what I felt. This is how we're going to wrap up this edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to follow me on my YouTube channel, which you can find at tinyurl.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. You can also follow me at Mr. Warren Hayes on Twitter. Be sure to tune in if you're watching this on Wednesday the 12th. Tune in tonight. FightfulSelect.com. Become a member. Watch my NXT 205 Live Mae Young Classic recap show. Come back on Friday so that we can talk Hell in a Cell predictions with Kristen Ashley. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.